Well, I have just been so incredibly blessed by being here this weekend. I didn't come here thinking anything really, having no expectations in terms of, I never do that because I get very anxious and nervous, but God has just showed up for me, and you all have just been so amazing. I'm really going to miss you all and be a little bit sad when I go back to cold, rainy Sydney. So let's just do a quick recap of this weekend. So Friday night we spoke about being divinely made, and we were beguiling and bewitching and ravishing, made in God's image, and how every single day we have to choose to see ourselves that way, because then every decision that we make will come from that place of confidence, knowing that we are made by the creator of the universe and loved by the creator of the universe. Don't forget your fingerprints, knitted together in your mother's womb. And then yesterday we spoke about getting dressed and stepping into the plans and purpose that God has for each and every single one of us. Getting ready, getting prepared, and making that decision to walk in God's plan for your life. And today is, for me, this is the best part about being divinely made. This is the cherry on top. This is get going. So, I grew up in a place called Bathurst when we first moved here from South Africa, and I went to a school that was a Catholic school, so not an Adventist school, and my teacher gave us some free time and we were going to do dancing. And so I sat next to this little boy, blonde little blue-eyed boy, and it was time to get up and we're all dancing, and I went over to him and I stuck my arms out and I said, "Want to dance?" And he said, "I don't dance with South Africans." This is a true story, in 1996, I still remember it. And that was the first time in my life I had felt rejection. I really felt like, looking around the room, I thought that was the first time I even noticed I was South African. That was the first time I looked around and seen all these blonde, cute little kids, and there I was, frizzy-haired, brown hair, freckles, and I was the only South African in the room, and no one wanted to dance with me. If that was today, Jesus take the wheel, it wouldn't have turned out so well for that little boy. But that was the first time I had ever felt rejection. And we go through life, there will be many times that you will be rejected. I applied for 86 jobs last year. I got 3 interviews, I got 2 of the jobs, and I took one of them, thank goodness, but I applied for 86 jobs last year. Maybe already you have experienced the pain of being rejected. I know I have. And the world is not going to ever bend and mold to you, unfortunately, girls. You have to be ready for what's coming. But this is the best part about being divinely made and knowing where you come from and knowing that you are a divine, beautiful being and walking in God's plan and purpose for your life. You are chosen. Yes. You are called. And I love what, I think it was Di was talking about, when we see our flaws and our shortcomings, that is actually where God's going to use. And God's going to use you in the things that you may even hate about yourself. Sometimes in the morning, I don't even choose myself. I don't even want to be myself. I look in the mirror and I can just see all the things that I hate about myself, which is just so horrible because God created me. And what did we say? God doesn't make mistakes. God doesn't create. He didn't create and then save as and come back and he's going to edit a bit later. No, God's creation, you are perfect. The work's done. We have to choose every single day to walk in God's plan and purpose because we are chosen. The Bible constantly talks about God's chosen people. This is the best thing that I probably have ever read in the Bible for me, because I know that I hate being rejected. But you know what? It's okay that I may be rejected by the world, or maybe rejected by the people in my life, maybe rejected 86 times from a job, because God, who created the universe, has chosen me. Amen. Colossians 3 verse 12. Since God chose you to be a holy people that he loves, you must clothe yourselves. Here's the best thing about clothing ourselves. In tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, and above all these things, put on love that binds us all together. This is what I'm talking about, girls, when we say that we're getting ready and we're going to go. We're going to get going. These are the things that you're going to put on. You are going to put on mercy and gentleness and humility and kindness. And that is the opposite of what the world is about. So that's what it means to be in the world, but not of the world. You, as God's chosen army, you're an army, are going to go out into the world and be the difference that the world needs. That the world needs. You know, this silly movie that I watched, it's called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Very silly. And in the movie, Matthew McConaughey's this ad guy, and he comes up with this slogan that says, frost yourself. And it's all about, you know, covering yourself in jewels and looking fabulous and looking expensive. That could not be further from what God is calling us to be. God is saying that you need to clothe yourself. The world will say that you need to glorify yourself, but what the Bible has to say, as his chosen people, you need to glorify God. And all men will see that. You know, the ending of God's Great Commission in Matthew, where he says, go out and make disciples of all men. How will people know that you are a child of Christ? It's because you will love one another. Amen. And that's what it says at the end of Colossians. It says, now put on love that binds it all together. Christ has chosen each and every single one of us. It's got nothing to do with how you look. It's got nothing to do with how smart you are. It's got nothing to do with where you come from. It's because you were divinely made. And then God has a plan and a purpose that he declares over your life. And it's not just a regular life. It's life to the fullest. And then we are now chosen to go out into the world and love on the world. I really hope that we, as children of Christ, really understand that we are supposed to be his hands and feet here in the world. This is what you are called to be, our plan and our purpose. It's to be the difference. 1 Peter 2, verse 9 to 10. I'm going to be reading from the Message version because I just love what it says. It says, but you are the ones chosen by God, chosen for a high calling of priestly work, chosen to be a holy people, God's instruments, to do work and speak out for him, to tell others of the night and day difference that God has made in your life. From nothing to something, from rejected to accepted as God's instruments. Yesterday when I shared my testimony, I wasn't even going to do it, really. And something inside me, when I was talking to Nathina on my way home from my Sydney Young Women's Conference, Nathina and I were just talking about what we're going to do, and God just spoke and said, you need to talk about your testimony. I just want to say that we are all survivors. We are survivors of our circumstances and the things that we have been through because God has a plan and a purpose. He didn't just create us for fun, for nothing. God created us as, what does it say? It says that we are his holy people, God's instruments. What an honor. What an amazing honor. And this is why I say that your story is so powerful, because people will come to Christ through hearing the night and day difference that God has made, it says in 1 Peter. From nothing to something. From rejected to accepted. So girls, this is it. As God's chosen, I want you to know that you are so loved. That you are so loved. And what it says in Romans yesterday, that nothing can separate us. Nothing can separate us. Not even the things that you will bring into your life can separate you from the love of Christ. Amen. I want to leave you with this verse, which is my favorite. It is Ephesians 2 verse 10. I say a lot of verses are my favorite, but these probably are all my favorite. Ephesians 2 verse 10, it says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand so that we may walk in them. There is a plan and a purpose for you because you are divinely made. And there are things that are going to come into your life that are going to try and tear you down. But there is a God that has already chosen you. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. God's already chosen you. He's already made a way. He's already made a plan. And we just need to choose to walk in God's plan. I just love you all. I love you all so much. And I really hope one day that our paths will cross again. And I really hope we will be able to see each other and remember this weekend where we chose to walk in God's plan. I'm going to say my final prayer, and then Nathaniel's going to come up. God, I just want to say thank you for the honor that I've had of being here this weekend. And I want to thank you for each head that is bowed here now. And I want you, God, I'm demanding that you show up in the lives of all these young women. And even though we know that there are things that are going to happen in our future that are going to try and tear us down, we are going to be so covered in your love and your protection that it will not even matter. We will be bulletproof to the things that Satan may throw at us. God, I pray that you would open our eyes to see ourselves the way that you see us. And that as your chosen daughters, as your royal holy people, as your army, that we would go out and we would be the difference in the world. That we would be kind, would be gentle, will be merciful, we will be humble. And above all else, Lord, that we will have a love that is unconditional. We won't be looking at what people look like or where they come from or how much money they have. We will just be loving people. That is how they will know that we are daughters of the King. And God, when we leave this place, let us not go back to our old ways. That'll be very easy to do. But I pray that we would go out renewed, with new eyes, with a new spirit. God, you said that your blessings are new every day. So we are claiming that today. That you are going to do something new. And you are going to do something amazing in each and every one of our lives. And God, we know that we are not even worthy to talk to you. But that is how amazing you are. That is how great you are. That you see us for what we can't even see in ourselves, that we are worthy and that we are loved and that we have a plan and a purpose for a hope and a future. So we claim those promises today, God. Not because we're worthy, but because you are so worthy. Amen. In all these things, amen. Amen.